Hey everyone, Movie Club here, and today we're watching Wind River. A barefoot girl runs through the snow at night like she's fleeing someone. In that kind of deep freeze, she clearly won't survive long. The story jumps to the present, into the Wind River reservation, where game tracker Corey Lambert drops a wolf and then drives to see his ex-wife Wilma. He wants to head into the reservation and pick up their son Casey, so the boy can visit his grandparents. The kid has been ready for a while and is dressed like a proper young hunter. Wilma says she's trying to land a new job in Jackson, so they'll soon have to talk about child support. Corey advises taking a safer route since a blizzard is forecast by the evening. Casey helps his dad tend the horses. Corey teaches him how to approach them, sits the boy in the saddle, and tells him to lead the animal gently around the ring. They ride into the reservation. Casey sprints to Grandma, who's cooked a big, comforting meal, and the former father-in-law shows Corey where something tore up a steer on his pasture. On the way, Corey talks about Wilma and her plans. They spot tracks in the snow, and the tracker concludes it was a cougar with 2 cubs. Unfortunately, that means he'll have to put the wildcat down. Corey borrows his father-in-law's snowmobile and heads out to track the predators. He notices blood marks, pulls on his cold weather camo, and follows the trail. Suddenly, he catches a flash of blue nearby and stumbles upon a dead girl he knows well. The tracker is shaken to the core, but he pulls himself together and calls it in. The feds take ages because of the blizzard, and Corey worries the track will be buried. He suggests they follow them before it's too late, but the local sheriff shuts that down. At last, an FBI agent arrives, a very young woman named Jane. She flew in from the south and wants to go straight to the body, but they convince her to change to much warmer clothes. Corey's mother-in-law lends Jane the granddaughter's winter gear and keeps ribbing the skinny city-looking girl. The sheriff, Jane, and Corey ride to the scene where the forensics team is already working. Looks like the victim is local. She's Native American. Jane suspects sexual assault and asks the medical examiner to run tests. The agent tries to understand how the girl ended up barefoot in the snow so far from home. Corey offers a theory. She ran hard all that way and died when her lungs burst, drowning in her own blood. Corey says the girl's name was Natalie, and she was a fighter to the end. Jane asks him to help with the investigation. Late that night, the tracker's worried son comes to him and asks about Natalie. He's sure she died the same way as another girl, Emily, whom both father and son know. Jane heads to the medical examiner and meets Sheriff Ben there, who says the family didn't file a missing person report because Natalie was an adult and sometimes stayed over at her boyfriend's place. The specialist confirms the assault, but the DNA results will take a long time to come back. The examiner also confirms Corey's theory that the girl died of pulmonary hemorrhage. Jane asks him to mark the cause of death as homicide, but the ME says he can't. Natalie didn't die directly from inflicted trauma. Jane realizes the brass will read that report and try to close the case, but she genuinely wants to help. She decides to question the girl's family and drives to the reservation. From the doorway, she starts pressing Martin, Natalie's father. Why did he let his daughter go off to some man he didn't know? The native father calmly answers that she was grown and he trusted her. Jane walks into the bedroom to question his wife Annie and finds a horrible sight. The grieving mother is in hysterics and hurting herself. Just then Corey knocks, and Martin can barely hold back tears as he embraces his friend. Trying to comfort him, Carrie shares his own grief because he lost a daughter 2 years ago. He even went to seminars for the bereaved to try to relieve the pain, but it never really eased. In the end, only a psychologist helped him by telling him to accept and carry the pain so he wouldn't lose the memory of his child. Suspicion falls on Martin's son, who's hooked on illegal substances. In despair, Martin begs the authorities to kill whoever did this. The sheriff and Jane pull up to a trailer where a bunch of strung-out guys crash and try to get through to them. One stoned kid blasts them with pepper spray, and the agent and sheriff drop, writhing in pain. But when the lowlifes try to bolt, Corey flattens them with a shovel. Half blind, Jane still pushes into the trailer and kills one of the men. Jane urgently presses Chip, Natalie's brother, to tell her what happened to his sister. It turns out the kid didn't know she was dead, and the news staggers him. When he pulls himself together, he says she was seeing an older white guy, but he doesn't know the name. Corey points Jane to another clue. Someone rode a snowmobile up into the mountains and, judging by the tracks, never came back. They follow the machine's trail. Soon the trees get too thick and they dismount, stumbling onto a corpse already being picked at by carrion birds. Sheriff Ben promises to review footage from the nearby drilling site's cameras. Chip finally admits he did know Natalie's boyfriend. He's a middle-aged man, a security guard at the drill site named Matt. Corey goes to Wilma and tells her everything, and she's sure he's thrown himself into the Natalie case because of their dead daughter Emily, and she doesn't even want to talk about it. After the discovery in the woods, Jane warms up at Corey's, and he suddenly opens up about Emily. He was working a long rotation then, and Emily decided to throw a party while her parents were gone. Friends showed up, and so did some strangers. They found Emily a day later, across the river near a pasture. No one knows how she got there or what happened. An autopsy gave nothing because the body was badly damaged by the elements. Emily and Natalie had been best friends. The story is agony for Corey to tell, and he's barely holding back tears. But now Jane understands why he's helping her. In the morning, they hit the police base to ask for a few officers. The plan is simple. Some will go with Jane to search for the guard's trailer at the drill site, and the rest will pull the security cam footage to piece together what happened. The sheriff asks about Matt, but the site manager doesn't know where he went. Apparently, Matt fought with his girlfriend. She ran, and he chased after her. No one's seen him since. Police move to search the guard's trailer. Corey keeps hunting the cougar and finds her den. He's about to put down the wildcat and her cubs when he notices a snowmobile track leading straight toward the trailer. Meanwhile, Jane, questioning the guards, gets a bad feeling when one of them blurts the victim's name, something the news never mentioned. Things flare up fast, and the cops and guards aim guns at each other. Jane steps between them, and as the FBI lead, orders everyone to lower their weapons. They finally calm the scene, and Jane again insists they search Matt's trailer. At that very moment, Corey is racing toward them, trying to raise Ben on the radio, but reception is awful. Jane walks to the trailer where Matt's neighbor Pete is holed up and knocks. Now, we jump back to what happened a few days earlier. Natalie slips into her boyfriend's trailer late that evening. He's overjoyed to see her. They make love, and then, still tangled in the sheets, daydream about their future. Matt recalls a Christmas he once spent in a tiny southern town and how peaceful it felt there. Suddenly, Matt's coworkers return, half drunk. Natalie was sure they were staying in town, or she'd never have come over tonight. The couple scrambles behind a makeshift screen. Natalie throws on her clothes, but the guys are already keyed up by the presence of a woman and won't back off. Pete starts pawing at Natalie. Matt steps in. A fight erupts, and the guards brutally beat the couple unconscious. Tim assaults Natalie. Matt comes to and launches at the attacker. The brawl explodes again, and the girl bolts from the trailer, completely naked. The story jumps back to the present. Jane keeps knocking on the door. No one opens for a long time. And then a shot blasts through the wood. A savage firefight breaks out, and every officer goes down. Only Jane survives, saved at the last second by Corey, who arrives just in time. The tracker skillfully takes out all the criminals, and only Pete manages to escape. Corey checks the wounded agent and gives her first aid, keeping her focused. Jane asks for the radio to call a helicopter and urges Corey to chase Pete. As they part, the tracker says he won't let the man live, and Jane replies she knows that. The panicked thug stumbles through the forest waving a gun. It doesn't help. Corey cold-cocks him with a rifle butt and drags him to the highest ridge in the reservation, where snow lies even on the hottest day. Pete begs for his life in humiliation, then notices Corey has taken off his boots. In a panic, the man whines that in this hole there's nothing. No fun and no women, just this damned snow. Corey, calm and steady, lets him finish sniveling and records the confession that he, Pete, assaulted Natalie, and that together the guards beat Matt to death. With that done, the tracker finally gets his chance at justice. He gives the creep the same odds Natalie had. Barefoot, in the cold, run to the nearest shelter. Only the dead girl was far braver and tougher than this crybaby who clings to the hunter and whimpers like a jackal. Corey fires a warning shot, and Pete runs. But he gives up after a few hundred yards and collapses in the snow, dying as his lungs tear. A few days later, Corey visits Jane in the hospital. She thanks him for saving her life. The tracker shrugs it off, saying she survived because out here you aren't saved by luck, you're saved by grit. From the clinic, Corey drives to Martin's and finds him outside. The man's face is painted in a death mask because he was about ready to quit living when, for the first time in months, his son called him. So now, instead of dying, he'll head to the station to bring Chip home. Corey tells his friend how the coward who killed his daughter died, and the two men are quietly satisfied by that. Text appears on the screen. Missing person statistics are compiled for all demographics, but they do not include women from the indigenous peoples of the USA. That's where the movie ends. Thanks to everyone who watched this video to the very end. Please hit the like button on this video, drop a comment with your thoughts on the film, and I'll see you in the next uploads.